Daniel. Thank you so much for joining me to talk about your experience with ArcVida.
Yes, definitely. I'm happy to do this.
Thank you. How long have you been looking for a new role when you started working with us?
I think I started looking around June of 2021, and joined ArcVida around August or September of 2021, so a few months before.
So what did you try before you started working with ArcVida? Did you pay for other services or gotten other help?
I did pay for my resume to be updated. I paid a few $100s to do that. I thought that would be the secret because I thought what I had wasn't enough. And I had also talked to a recruiter who set me up with their career coach, but that was a little different. I think the incentive structure for the career coach was a little bit different, off because he wanted more clients for his financial services company and provided some guidance, but not quite what I was looking for.
Hmm. And so how are you feeling before you started working with ArcVida?
Honestly, I was very hopeful because of the presentation that I saw for a USC alumni event about ArcVida, and I was optimistic that this would be something different, especially since I tried just doing my resume and I talked to a career coach that offered their services free, but with certain attachments. So it was something different, and I thought different was the way to go.
So it sounds like, and I think I remember this too, that you joined our Find Your Career Fit event for the USC alumni.
Yes.
Is that right? So
Yes.
what made you decide to join our trial?
Well, I thought the presentation was really good, and I wanted to support USC alumni since I am also alumni, and it was actually one of those things. And just all the topics that were discussed during the event, I thought was a lot better and more structured than what I had previously experienced.
Yeah, definitely a lot of structure. What, while you were in the program, and if you think back over this time, what was your overall experience with Arcvita like?
I think it was a little unbalanced at the very beginning. Not knowing what to expect, that part was a little difficult for me. But I mean, there were modules that had a structure that I was looking for that helped that along and guide the process. And having a cohort leader, having the weekly discussions was very helpful.
Yeah, that accountability. It's funny what people kind of vibe toward one way or the other. There's a lot of different things.
Right.
So thinking about the work you're doing, the process, and you had met with this energized cohort, talk to me about what it was like to have to do this process with your these peers and the cohort leader. I know you mentioned you met every week.
Right. It was very helpful talking over the process with people who were in the same position I was. Everyone was around the same age or in the same part in their career, looking for a different challenge or pivoting to a different career altogether. So that was very helpful.
Yeah, nice. So it did help you feel less lonely, it sounds like.
Yes.
And then
Definitely.
what about, if you I don't know if you wanna share anything about the working in the application, the various modules, or how you interacted in the community?
I did interact in some of the community, looking at various posts. I did talk to a couple of people here and there. And then as far as working the modules, it was very helpful for me. It helped me structure my thoughts. Again, structure is the key word for me. I just wanted to know whether the processes or things I should be thinking about in my next role, rather than just saying, "Oh, that sounds like it was a cool thing to do," or "That person has a cool job." I really had to think about what I wanted out of the next career or out of the next position I was going to, and the modules did help with that thought process with the questions that they asked and made me answer those and really think about it.
Yeah, there's definitely a lot of structure. So when you think about your network now, how do you think about the people you met during this process and sort of the state of your professional network now?
I think my network is a lot stronger now. I mean, I knew a lot of people from graduate school, and I've worked with a lot of people over the years, but I never really kept in touch with a lot of them. And then by reaching out, I understood who were very generous people who had the time to give to me. And then um, for myself, because I was on the receiving end of that generosity, I am also going to give back to other people who reach out to me because it's a very valuable thing to have as a very strong network, and you just never know. You never know when you'll need that help in the future.
Yeah, absolutely. I love that during this process you've become a generous networker. That's lovely. This is a process. Talk to us about what it actually took for you. How long, how many months did you work with us?
I started back around August or September of 2021, and I did get my final offer in June of 2022. So that's almost like 10 months, 11 months
Oh
of
wow. Yeah.
being with ArcVida.
That, and I have to tell you, you're a little bit an outlier there, but so you started with the cohort, the
Yes.
energized cohort, and then you switched to ongoing support.
Yes.
And did you work with us steadily or did you take a break in between?
I think the most time I took off in between was probably a couple weeks at the very end after I had gotten several interviews and wasn't getting any offers. I had to take like a mental break for like a week or two.
Yeah, totally get that, the reset. How many conversations did you end up having during this process with us?
I did have about 27 to 30, 32 conversations, and it was different conversations for different purposes. So some of the conversations were about the perception of how I work and my work
Mhm.
style, so my reputation. But then the others were more geared towards informational interviews about companies I was interested in and the positions I was interested in.
Yeah, and that's such a hallmark of our program. I think early on we just didn't talk enough about how many conversations it actually takes.
Yes,
How many interviews did or how many jobs did you end up interviewing for?
I interviewed for three different jobs, one internally to my own company and then two external.
So along those lines, how much time, like how many hours a week were you spending on your job search while you were working with us?
I definitely spent a few hours, a couple hours every day. So I did this pretty consistently, 6 or 7 days a week.
Okay.
S-
And then what days of the week did, or what times of the day did you like it? Are you a morning person or how did you?
For the work stuff, I kind of split it up into two different parts of the day. I do it at the very beginning of my day, just to start, a couple hours or an hour, and then at the very end of the day, after my kids are down and gone and, and put to sleep, and then I would spend a couple more hours looking for other positions and stuff like that.
Yeah. I appreciate you mentioning the kid thing. A lot of our clients are caregivers, parents or older adults in their lives. And it's definitely you just have to be so rigorous with your schedule, like to get it done.
Yes.
It's a lot and to take that time away. So here you are, you landed your job. Tell us about your results.
So I landed a position at Ernst& and Young. I will be a senior consultant too, and I will start August 8th. They just actually pushed my start date a week.
I hope you're planning a vacation.
Yes, yes.
Nice. How does this role mesh with your values and meet your needs?
I think the most important thing is that it will be very challenging, and I think the most important thing to me is the career path, and they have a very structured career path, and that's what I really like. There's no ambiguity, and so where I was, I didn't know what my future had in store for me, and I think at Ernst& and Young, I hope this is the case, and I'm pretty sure it will be the case that they will have a clear career path for myself going forward, and it's something that what I was looking for in my next role, and that's what Ernst& and Young will provide.
I'm thrilled for you. And it is really exciting to feel that competency, you're bringing all these skills and experience you have. So your competency, but also the challenge. Like there's a
Oh,
lot to
yes.
dig into here. That's great. I don't know. Have you read that book Flow? We recommend it a lot.
No, I haven't read Flow. I
No,
might put
it's
it on my summer reading list.
yeah, no, it's wonderful. It's by Mikhail Csikszentmihalyi, and I'm butchering his last name, but it's wonderful. It's really about this idea that if you've heard the phrase like in the zone with sports,
Right.
or like it's this idea that when we are working at our competency and feeling challenged, like that's that state that's going to be most fulfilling for us. And it sounds like that's kind of this role for you.
Hopefully that will be the case. I'll find
Yeah,
out in a couple months.
for sure. So one of my favorite questions to ask is, what kind of person do you think ArcVidas process is good for? This career transition process is so structured.
The career transition process is good for anyone who's looking to change what they're doing now. But you have to be able to put in the work. You have to be willing to reach out to people that you might not have reached out to before, or that you're afraid to talk to. You just have to do it. Just it doesn't matter. You just have to make that jump.
Yeah, that's definitely true. What would you say to someone who's thinking about doing a trial with us?
I think you should do it. I mean, if you are even considering it, then you should do it, because that means all the things that you tried before have not worked. So it'd be foolish to keep on doing something that didn't work. Might as well try something new.
Yeah, for sure. And just one more question here. So I know you've got your MBA, so I'm going to ask you an MBA question. Was the
Sure.
return on your investment, it's money and time, was the return on your investment worth it for you?
It was totally worth it. I felt in the past 20 odd years of working, I've been underpaid or undervalued. And then now I think I'm at a place, or going to a place, where I think my skill sets will be valued and I'll be well compensated. It's like a very incredible jump to it's not like the perfect number, but it's getting me to that perfect number. And I'm sure in a couple of years I'll catch up. So it was totally worth it.
Great. Well, as a fellow MBA, I love that answer. What's the value proposition? Thank you
Yes,
again for sharing your experience. I really appreciate
of course, Alyssa.
this conversation. And, honestly, I'm so thrilled for you.
Thank you very
This
much.
seems like such an exciting move.
Yes, it definitely is.